What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Sorry about the late start. We had some problems with the stream at YouTube, but we are ready to rock and roll. It is Wednesday, March 27th at 5:37 p.m. Eastern time, and we have no time. Quick shout out to all the low baggers, but we have Dave Adelaide joining us now in 3 minutes, so I got to talk NHL really quick, and I'm very uncomfortable with this NHL card. And there hasn't been a card with 4 games minimum on it that I haven't made a play, but I don't have a play right now. I'll talk to you guys about it as quick as possible because we got a packed show. We got Dave LA breaking down MLB futures. I just saw Kobe Valentine make his first 3 bets of the Major League Baseball season. I copied and pasted those. And then we're going to have Dave LA for 20 minutes going over futures. Then we're going to have Jay Money is Money to talk NBA. And then Maxwell Smart to break down these 3 college games. I've only made 2 bets today, but that's okay. And I don't need to reach. I'm coming off a nice winning day. It's been a tough month, and I don't need to reach and make plays just so I enjoy my night. So I'm not reaching right now. Shout out to Serious Business, Jorge Don't Play, George Cruz, Troy V, Nick the Slick, Antoine Seymour, George Cruz saying it again, Alaska Marv, Jakeem Irvin, Daryl Lyles, Josh Keo Kunlaya. What a great group, but we can't go into everybody right now. We got to get to business here in this card. So let's talk NHL and go as fast as possible. First off, we got Tommy Bolt in the house. I love this. Okay, Tommy Bolt ready to go. Trenton Claxton like in Calgary puck line. That's an interesting look. Troy V says Stars and Vegas money line and Rangers puck line. I could make a move on the Knights, but Colorado just has so much to play for right now. But without Rantanen and Landeskog, I do think Vegas is the play. I do. I think Vegas is the play, even without Pacioretty. But why don't we get to that in a second? Okay, Charles Barkley ready to go. Underdog Ruiz says, what a great lineup for the show. Yeah, my man Joey Ruiz in the house. Okay, Kobe says, I think taking a stab on the Rangers to win tonight isn't that much of a reach. Boston has nothing to play for. And that's absolutely right. Well, let's start with Leafs Flyers here. I could understand making a move on Leafs, but they're just too big of a road favorite for me. And I'm going to stay off. The Flyers are about done. Again, this is almost like talking about the NIT and the CBI and the CIT where we're talking about motivation here. Is there motivation? Mr. Goku says Leafs puck line. Sassana in the house. We do not have Sassana enough. Would have treated this as a team. And I need help with this card. I'm not making a move on Leafs Flyers. There hasn't been a ton of movement on any of these games. The Leafs opened at minus 149. There's been a 1-cent move at BetOnline to minus 148. This total has moved up to 7. I've never taken an over 7 in my life. And I know that some of them have been hitting this year, but I'm still not going to do it. So I'm just staying off that game. Troy V says Bruins 0-2 versus the Rangers. Yeah, and that might give the Bruins something to play for, but I doubt it. PK says Subban in net still. I'll take Avs at home. I don't mind Subban in net now that he gets a little comfort, knows he's playing every second day. Doesn't make me uncomfortable at all. Nick D says Kobe and David Lair are my favorite cappers. Appreciate you guys. Perfect, because they're going to be doing a lot of help here on this show. Okay, so let's keep rolling. So Leafs Flyers, I'm off. And then Rangers Bruins. I had some interest in the under. Let's just take a look at if there's been a move on it. Again, when you're dealing with motivation, is it really the move you want to take in under here? There's been almost no movement. Opened at minus 20, or minus 120, under 6, minus 120 at BetOnline. It's moved 10 cents. I'm not going to make a move on it. I have a tough time seeing the Rangers doing any scoring, and who knows when the Bruins are going to light it up. So I'm staying. PK also saying Grubauer playing well, though, so be a good game. He's playing very, very well. And we can go over his stats briefly, but we need to move to MLB. So here, Rangers, Bruins, I'm not making a move on the under, and I'm not making a move at all on the game. And then we have Stars, Flames, another interesting situation where the Stars look terrible on their winning 1 out of 5 games on their homestand. Then they go out on the road and start playing great hockey against Winnipeg in a surprising 5-2 win. This is the next tough game because after this, it's just Edmonton and Vancouver. If they sweep these 4 games, they're in the playoffs. Ben Bishop playing very well. Tyler Seguin leading by example. Again, I don't want to jump on it. Gay Pasky says, I grabbed the under in the Bruins game. They have no reason to turn it up. That play makes sense. Kobe Valentine saying, my brother said Anderson dealing with some confident issues. Yeah, that's their big hole right now, the Leafs. And it might have something to do with Dermott and Gardner out. Maybe that will help fortify their defense when they come back. But I'm not on it. I'm not on Stars Flames. But Daryl Lyles taking Stars Flames under. Gate Pasky says this is a must win for Dallas. Do you really want to fade the Flames at home? I don't know if I want to. They're playing bad. I mean, they're playing bad hockey. As we said, 1 power play goal in their last 10 games, 1 for 25. They're just doing very little. And I can understand taking Dallas here, and I can't really understand taking Calgary. Troy V said Dallas scoring some goals now. They did against Winnipeg, who was missing 3 defensemen. So I don't know if you want to back him here. And then Knights, Avalanche. I wish 6s were available on the total. They're not. There was a 6 very early this morning, just 5.5s. I could take Vegas on the road, but Colorado has so much to play for. All that said and done, I'm not making the move. Coming off another big winning day in NHL, and I'm just not going to reach to make a play. So I'm off it. And I hate saying that to you guys. If I had to make a move, I would jump on Gate Pass Keys under 6 in the Bruins Rangers. I would make that move. If I had to make a move on a side, I would take the Vegas side. Eric Jones also on the Bruins under 6. He's on Flames under 5.5 and Toronto under 7, taking unders. I like that look. Sasana says Bruins in first feature game on NBC. Dallas might have a flat spot over an emotional win over the Jets. That's all true. That's all true. In all said and done, I'm staying off. I hate saying that, but I need to finish this month strong, and I don't feel like there's big enough edges. So, with all that said and done, let's bring in our MLB expert, Dave L.A. in the house to walk us through future bets. And I know he's made a ton of them. I can't wait to do this. So, first and foremost, Dave L.A., thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Jimmy, I appreciate your this moment with you guys.
Oh, man, we're pumped. We are absolutely pumped. So you did tweet out your future bets. So why don't we start going through them? Do you want to talk NL or AL to get rolling?
Whatever you want to talk about. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm an AL guy, right? So I prefer the NL, but the Jays are in the AL, so I'll work with that. So let me grab your action right now, and let me pull it up here. Sorry, just taking a second. And let's go. Okay, so why don't we just start rolling through each division? So the East Division, the Yankees look very good. You are taking them to win the division, and you're taking them over 96.5 games. Why don't you expand on that?
Well, they did a lot of they signed up a lot of good pitchers that they were dealing with last year. So as far as weakness goes. And I think that they can capitalize on the division because the Red Sox, I think it's going to be a down year for them. They're still good, but I think they're going to have that media attention because they're champions. And the Rays, I think they're healthy, but I don't think their bat is good enough to beat the Yankees. And that's how I have the Yankees ahead of everybody in the East.
Their pitching looks so strong, and I don't see how they don't hit more home runs than last year. And last year, they break the record in home runs. It just feels like Stanton, another year of comfort. Judge coming off an injury-riddled season. It looks like they're going to absolutely smash. Kobe Valentine says Yankees to win the World Series at plus 600. Have you made that move?
I have to agree. I've done it myself, and I like it. I like them to win the division, the AL pennant, and to reach the World Series, and to possibly have a future on them with the World Series.
All right. Okay. Well, let's keep rolling. Let's talk about the Central Division. We just have word coming out of the Cleveland camp. Huge injury to their most important player, their star shortstop, going down. We don't know how long he is going to be out. But you say Indians, but too expensive, wait during the season for the better line. I'm wondering, has that changed? And I do see that you're on the Kansas City Royals under and Minnesota Twins over. That's Kansas City Royals under 70.5, Minnesota Twins over 83.5. Why don't you expand on the Central Division?
The Indians with Lindor, I think he'll be gone maybe possibly the first month of the season. But I mean, they're expensive right now because of their pitching, and so people are going to make that. The books are going to make that judgment based on their pitching and the star of Lindor. So that's why they're kind of heavy favorites. And what I mean by wait on the season to make the right move on them, I think a team like the Minnesota Twins, with that heavy lineup that they have, I think they could get some wins in the beginning of the season to kind of get that lead in the division for the Central at the moment for the first month. That's where I think you should be able to see the Indians at a value price to take them to win the Central Division at the end of the year.
Yeah, Twadi Latte saying Cleveland future is just like bending over and picking money off the ground. Even with Lindor out for the first month, do you agree on that?
Right, that's what I say. Don't take the Indians now. Just wait on them because of the injury of Lindor. That defense and that bat is definitely going to impact that team. So I would say put a future on the Twins because I like them to win the over on the wins because I just love their bat. But I think their bullpen is the one that's going to be more valuable in that team.
Yeah, you got Moss the Green saying, I love the Twins over 83 at Bet Online. Sportsman of the Year said, Jimmy, my girl Tata, waiting for the NBA. She actually likes the show, especially Max, Cock Soup, and Laughs. Man, Sportsman of the Year, love hearing that. Shout out to Tata and you capping together. All right, well, that's an interesting look. Let's move over to the West. Now, last year, God, we jumped on the Oakland A's, and they gave us, I guess value, even though we lost the bet. They gave us value on there to win the division and to win the AL, and there was a lot of fun riding them. But you have the Angels at plus 800 to win that division. Now, I mean, you're getting a nice number, but you really think they can sit atop the division at the end of the year? I mean, the Astros are loaded again this year, but you think the Angels can pull this off?
Sorry, Jimmy. I'm gonna go back and talk about the Royals. Why I have them under.
Sure.
And sorry about that. I'm just kind of a little nervous here.
Hey, buddy,
But
it's
anyways,
all good,
going
man.
back to the Royals, I just think they are one of those teams that just hit the reset button. They just lost Salvador, a very important player for them that's going to help and produce the defense. And what a catcher does, he has that relationship with your pitchers, your starting pitching, your rotation. You have that relationship with them. So now they have to start from scratch with a new player. I mean, I love the replacement, but to replace Salvador. It's a big impact. So I think they're going to have a tough year, and I think we can capitalize on their bullpen and on their I think on the money line, even running against them.
Yeah, and that's 70 and a half. And last year I took the Royals under when I heard Perez was going to be out for 6 weeks, let alone dealing with Tommy John surgery. So I can understand that. At Bet365, they have the Indians at minus 400, Twins at plus 300. I'm not going to make a future bet at minus 400. And then let's go to your Angels. You got plus 800 in your book. AL West here at Bet365 is giving them plus 1,000. Oakland A's plus 700 and the Astros minus 700 to win the division. Tell us a little more about why you're high on the Angels.
Reason why I'm not making a biased move. Angels are my favorite team, but don't get me wrong. But what I see is the $800 value. This is a team that can possibly give the Astros a little pressure. Last year, the Angels. I mean, don't get me wrong. They had a horrible year. All their starting pitchers were injured, and they had to pull pitchers from their bullpen and from their minor league teams to even start a game. So a lot of people took advantage of the Angels. So that a team like the Oakland A's took advantage of the Angels starting pitching. But this year, I see a difference where they can actually put some pressure on the Astros, make a little run against them with their bats and in a healthy pitching squad.
Yeah, I mean, tell us more about the starting rotation to get the year going. You have trust? Because I know a lot of people do not trust the Angels starting rotation. Walk me through opening day starter, number 2, number 3, and tell me if you think that they're going to have strong seasons.
I honestly don't think what we lack is not having an ace pitcher. We actually went out at the market trying to get an ace pitcher to join our rotation. but it doesn't mean that we have a bad rotation pitching squad. I can see us being above average and give some kind of pressure with our bats because I think our bats are really good that can help produce runs and support our pitchers during the season. That I think the Astros are really going to feel the pressure from the Angels this year with our bats and the bullpen that's going to finally get that support from the starting pitching. I don't think it's going to be the best pitching, but it's going to be enough to take care of business.
You know, I'm looking at to win the division. I don't see very many appealing numbers, but to win the AL, Twins at 25-1 does look very appealing there. All right, let's move over to the National League, shall we? Move over to the National League. Let me get your action up here quickly. Here we go. Move over to the National League, and you got a lot of futures action here. Let's start with the Cardinals. Let's talk the Central. I've heard a lot of people not being as high on the Cubs as I am, but I have been high on the Cubs, every year for the past 4 or 5. You have the St. Louis Cardinals under 88.5, and the Chicago Cubs over 87.5. You have the Nationals is in the East. Okay, so you have the Cardinals and the Cubs there from the Central. Why don't you expand on that a little bit?
All right, so what I'm doing, because I'm taking these high values on teams that people are not predicting to do a big move on against the top opponents. I find value at the beginning of the season with those kind of numbers like the Angels. Right now, if you take the Indians and Astros, you're dealing with some ridiculous numbers. So what I've done is I've taken that second team that will give them some kind of pressure, and as I can carry that momentum through the season. And if I could get a better value with the Astros, with the Indians, then I can actually make that bet in the middle season, and then I'll be happy enough to know that I'll be having the Angels and the Astros to win that division. Now going to the NL, it's actually a little tough because there's just so many. I think it's a tough, tight league in the NL. So many teams can take control of the pennant on the NL. Now the Cubs, just like the Dodgers, I think have a deep roster, bench, bullpen, and also the starting pitchers. I don't see any other. I think they can always rely on someone in the bench that can step in and give rest on their starters. And now with the Cubs, I love them to take that division because they are the deep bench roster team. I think it's a complete team that I think that can handle that pressure and win that division outright.
Yeah, and you're getting a nice number. You're getting you got him at plus 200 at Bet365 here. They're plus 210. Cardinals plus 225. Brewers plus 240. Why don't we move over to the NL East where you are jumping on the Nationals at plus 175. I'm surprised that you got 175 here because at Bet365 you get plus 300 if you like the Nationals to win the NL East. The Phillies are favorite, and we know why that is. That's just the Harper stakes, sweepstakes at plus 180. Braves are at plus 250. Man, just looking at that from here, it feels like the Braves have a ton of value here. You have Washington Nationals over 88.5 wins, New York Mets under 88.5 wins, Miami Marlins under 63.5 wins, and Philadelphia Phillies under 89.5 wins. Why don't you expand on the NL East for us?
It's quite simple. The Nationals have two. You can possibly argue they have two ace pitchers, Max Scherzer and Strasburg. So with those two pitchers, I think you can get a lot of wins. Yeah, they lost Harper, but they do have a good batting lineup that can produce contact and a little bit of power enough to get some wins. With those two type of pitchers, you don't need to produce that many runs, and then you're going against the Mets, who can't even produce, who's actually who are desperate to get some runs, who are desperate in the lack of bats. So from between the Mets and the Nationals, I just love the Nationals right away. Yes, they do have some pitchers, but they don't have the bats that can produce runs just like the Nationals. And the Braves, well, I mean, they just lost some pitchers. They have a bad bullpen. What's great about them is their offense, but it's just not enough to beat these type of teams like the Nationals and the Mets. And the Phillies, I think they have a good bullpen. They can be surprising at times, but their starting pitchers is what worries me, and their defense is just really bad. They can produce runs, but against the lefty pitchers, I have them ranked last.
Yeah, I like your breakdown. I still feel like the Braves have value not being favored right now, but I definitely hear what you're saying. I think the Phillies are overvalued. I like your looks. I like your looks in the East. Let's move over to the West. You have the Colorado Rockies over 84.5 wins with their young pitching staff. And back, one thing that just jumps out at me is Strasburg has never completed, not since he was young, completed a full season, and not since they were rolling into the playoffs and they sat him, when he was young. I just, the guy breaks down every single year, and we have our baseball pool coming up tonight, and I don't want anything to do with Strasburg. Let's talk about the West. Rockies at plus 450. That's very, very interesting. You're getting plus 400 here at Bet365. You're getting plus 450. I think that makes sense. Colorado Rockies over 84.5 wins. Giants under 73.5 wins. Dodgers under 93.5 wins. Those are your looks in the NL West, and I like them. I like them a lot. Expand on why you think the Rockies can take care of business in the NL West.
I just think they're at the perfect stadium to produce runs. They have probably the best bat in the NL, and they can easily do it at home, on the road. They can produce some runs for their starting pitchers to show support, and all they got to do is just slow the other opponent down for like maybe 3-4 innings, and they're good to go from there on. Yes, their lack is bullpen, but I think as their bats continue to hit, I just find them hard to beat them. Now, I think and with the Dodgers, I just think they're overvalued. They're always overvalued. Yeah, they have the history of winning the division, but I just think they're overvalued.
I like your looks. I think you got a strong futures market. I like what you're seeing here. I think the Rockies are giving you a ton of value. We've got to move on to NBA, but before I do, we hope to have you joining us tomorrow for opening day. Looking at tomorrow's opening day lineup, is there a lineup in games? Very interesting stuff. I already copied and pasted Kobe's first looks of the season. Kobe Valentine jumping on 3 plays. Mets money line at plus 115, St. Louis money line at minus 105, and Philly minus 1.5 at plus 110. What is one game or a couple games that you're really looking at for tomorrow?
Kobe Smart. He's in a group that I'm part of. I'm part of a great group, a bunch of guys, bunch of girls. They're all great, and we all agree on one play. And I'm actually making it as a max play that I want to share here with you guys. And it's the St. Louis Cardinals against the Brewers.
Beautiful. Let me take a look at this spot here. St. Louis, we got Mikolas versus Chacin, and it's minus 105, minus 115 in Milwaukee. And Mikolas coming off that excellent year after coming over from Japan. And now he's the stud ace of this Cardinals rotation. Tell us more why who you're backing and why.
I just think the bats on the Cardinals are gonna attack Chachin right away, right from the beginning. I can see this game ending at a 7-4 type of game. This is at Milwaukee. This is a stadium where batters love to play there because you can produce runs. It's kind of similar to the Colorado Rockies. It's not as high, but you can still produce a lot of good hitting in that stadium. And I think Chachin is going to have a nightmare opening.
Every time I've watched a scene, I'm like, how's he doing it? What is he sprinkling on the ball? He just seems so susceptible, but he gets the job done, and he gets the job done at home. And that's why the Brewers are trusting him there. But I like that look. I like that look. I'm going to spend a lot of time on these games tonight, and we're going to start capping like crazy this year. And you're coming off another monster year in MLB. We are very lucky to have you rolling
Jimmy,
with us.
Sorry to cut you off, but
no worries.
When I hit a max play, I have to be 150%. I run down, up and down, any possibility of how I can even lose this match. So when I broke this game down, I just see the Cardinals just taking the Brewers right away. They need to attack right away, and I think that's what they're going to do. They don't want to see the Brewers bullpen at a tight game.
Hey, man, when you say max bet, I get very, very, very interested. Very, very interested. And we're going to love rolling with you all year long. So the first max bet of the regular season, Dave LA is on the St. Louis Cardinals to take care of business against the Brewers tomorrow. And Dave, I know you're very busy, but we want you as much as possible. Is there a chance we get you on the show tomorrow?
Let's do it, man. I just got to break these nerves and get me talking more, and I'll do anything for you, Jimmy.
We absolutely love you. Jose Villegas says, Jimmy, Coors Field fade this year. We're going to break everything down and decide how we're going to do it, but there's no reason not to do it. The only thing that went wrong with the Coors Field fade was the strength of the Colorado Rockies pitching, and we'll break all that down every single day for the next 6 months and figure out how we want to handle things.
Jimmy, I promise you, you're going to have a better year. I promise you that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could actually have a worse year than what happened last year, Dave. But no doubt. Cody Valentine says, I'm not a fan of Freeland on the road, fresh out of the gate, and I'm not big on Colorado's team to do well in road games, and Urena isn't horrible at home. Jose Urena is, I think, underrated. I think he can do some stuff this year, but great stuff. Dave L.A., I absolutely love it. And Teddy B wants to close this off by saying, Jimmy, please tell Dave to show the Dodgers some respect. Dave L.A., thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find you on Twitter?
On Twitter, you can find me at DaveLA_sports.
I love it. Okay, I'll connect with you later on tonight. We'll get you on the show tomorrow and start breaking these games down. Shout out to our MLB expert, Dave L.A. Love it, my man. Thank you for joining us. All right, we got to jump right to this NBA card as soon as possible. I see our NBA expert, Mr. J Money, is money in the house and ready to rock. And I want more plays, and I don't like this NHL card at all. So I want to get down to business here in the association. Let's see what we got looking at us here. But first off, J Money is money. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
What's up, Jimmy? Nah, thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? I come on whenever you need me, man. So hey, we in here. Let's get this cash today.
Yes, let's get this cash. And it was a great day yesterday, other than us jumping on that under late. Other than that, we had real nice read on the NBA card. And I'm coming off a day winning NCAA, NBA, and NHL, and just a little tentative to make moves. I don't like this card that much. But let's get to work. We got 5 games and lots of angles. Let's start with Blazers Bulls. Let me get the spreads and totals here. SBRodds.com. Blazers Bulls. Blazers open at -7, and as soon as the Bulls announced that none of their studs are going to be in the lineup, no Levine, no Porter, no Markkanen, no Dunn, all of a sudden this became -9. I guess, I said Markkanen leaves the game yesterday sick. I don't think he's going to be in the lineup, but I still didn't have faith. I was still confused as to how the Blazers are going to handle this Nurkic injury, and I'm very curious to hear what you think about how they're going to handle it. Are they going to step up? We talked about Enes Kanter in the early show, how porous he is defensively. So we have Portland, Chicago, now -9s across the board, except at Pinnacle, and this total opened at 218s, now at 215. J Money, let's start here. Portland at Chicago.
Yeah, the Nurkic injury was absolutely terrible. And Freddie, I'm hearing myself echo, you know what I'm saying, the headphones. I got the headphones in, and I'm still hearing the echo, so something's going on. But as far as this game, man, the Blazers, it's tough because the line has jumped up to 9, You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit tough, but I feel like that they will be a little bit shell shocked after that Nurkic. You know what I'm saying? The loss of Nurkic at first, but it's crazy because I like the under in this game, but I feel like with no Nurkic, you know what I'm saying, and the Bulls, they don't really have many star players playing. The backups could start pushing the pace here. So I mean, I know they're off a back to back. I know the Raptors, they couldn't get it done last night, but I just feel like this is a terrible spot for the Bulls, and they're not even trying to win with the players that they're sitting out to what it looks like. So I still have to go to the under on this one.
Yeah, I think that the under makes the most sense, but if I'm taking an under with the Blazers, I don't want to see Enes Kanter sprinting up and down the floor. We're going to call Jay Money back, see if we can fix that, what he was hearing in his headphones. But, I just don't want Kanter anywhere close to an under. Let's take a look at who the Bulls are going to have. So we know that they're going to have Arcidiacono, whom I like. I don't dislike Arcidiacono as a backup. Then you're going to see a lot of Shaquille Harrison. He's had some okay shooting days. Wayne Selden. I mean, they don't have a power forward in the lineup. Like I don't know if they're going to play Felicio there. Because Robin Lowe. I mean, what the hell? I don't know what the hell Chicago's going to do here. It seems like a spot where they're going to fall apart. Let's see what Benjamin Creasy says. He says Portland will have issues without Nurkic, but not tonight. They'll win this emotionally. I love Lillard to lead in this type of situation. I'm laying that -9 most likely. Mally Malek in the over 215. Why don't you finish off your thoughts on this Bulls Blazers spot, Jay?
Right, and like I say, earlier on in the day, I was thinking that the under was my better play. I was thinking about the over, loving the damn under. But when you look at it, I feel like that the Blazers, as far as the side, may be a little bit better bet here because this game could get ugly. You don't know if the backups for the Bulls are gonna want to push the pace, but I do think that we know that the Blazers should win this game here. It's just about how many points. I mean, if you want to bet it now, you kind of got the ass end of the line. But I mean, if you just look at the lineup out there for the players that are even dressing for the Bulls, you have to look towards the Blazers here, and you know what I'm saying. Hope that they go in there in Chicago and handle business and don't look past them. So my bigger play on this one would be Portland. -9 is still a little tricky, but this game in theory should be a blowout. I mean, the Bulls, they can't match up well at all versus the Blazers, and I'm cool with Cancer coming in there for Nurkic. I don't feel like that's that much of a drop off.
Oh, I fell in love with Nurkic this year, and I think Cantor's. I mean, we have all the advanced analytics that show how terrible he is defensively. That's why the Knicks wanted nothing to do with him. One thing about the Chicago team that wants to lose, these guys need jobs. These guys all need jobs. So I feel like you're going to get a hard game out of the Bulls here. Feel like you're going to get a hard game out of the Bulls. I'm not making a move on this at this point. I really want to watch how the Blazers handle everything. Riku Roxas says Bulls are a fade. Red Girl here in the house. Steve Cordero says sell points. Blazers to -12. Teddy B says, Jimmy, I think Bulls first quarter and first half. Expect Blazers to run second half. This is going to be a watch and learn spot for me. Let's talk Warriors at Grizzlies. I jumped on the Grizzlies at +10.5. I know that a lot of the trends with the Warriors and being double-digit favorites on the road, stuff like that, point towards the Warriors. And a lot of people are on them, and that's why you're getting a +10.5. I'm not concerned. I like this 10.5. The total opened at 216, shot up to 219.5 or 220 at Bovada. We're calling Jay back right now. We're still working on his audio, so we're going to figure this out. PK saying over in the dubs. I hope you got that early. Ricardo Gutierrez saying, I think it's a huge drop-off from Nurk to Cantor. I do too. David Sand says the Nurkic spot will catch up to Portland, but Bulls on the back-to-back short-handed. Blazers is the play. Cassius Thomas says, Jimmy, you say if it looked too good, don't take it. I just think these Bulls are going to fight. I think the Bulls are going to fight tonight. These guys want jobs, and I'm not entirely sure what Portland is going to give us. I just want to watch at this point. But Golden State, Memphis, Jay, I'm already on Memphis +10.5. You have a look on this game?
Yeah, that's a damn good point. And just real quick, on that, and that sounds a whole lot better, Freddie. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear the echo anymore. But just real quick on that Portland and Chicago game, I can't say. I mean, especially looking at it now, if you have to bet it now, it's almost a stay away. I mean, if you like Portland early, it may -6, then or even -7, then that's a little bit different. But now to 9, I mean, you're asking them to win by double digits on the road. That's a little bit tough to ask for. But the Bulls are coming on the back-to-back, and they don't have they don't have really any players playing tonight. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough one. I still feel like the unders to play, even if the Bulls do try to pick up the place. I feel like that the Blazers, you know what I'm saying, will try to play some defense here. I'm still on the under, and I did get the Blazers early, but -9 is still a little bit tricky. But as far as this Grizzlies and Warriors game, we know that it's late in the season now. We know that the Warriors, some of these games are just not going to be getting up for. I mean, if you look at their ATS record, they're the second worst covering team in the league this year. Just look at it. One of their better teams in the year, but as far as covering the spread for us bettors, they're not so good. I mean, they're 30, 42-1 ATS this year. You've been losing money if you've been betting on the Warriors a bunch of times this year. I mean, you have to pick your spots. And this one, laying double digits on the road, I'm not sure if it's the spot. I mean, we see the way the Grizzlies been playing at the house, even without Conley, the last game versus OKC, which that shit was crazy. I watched that game. OKC was just chunking up ill-advised threes. It almost looked like they were trying to lose that game. It was absolutely, it was terrible, man. I cut that game off in the first fucking quarter. Russell Westbrook and Paul George just chunking up threes, man. So I can't really give the credit to Memphis in that game. I feel like OKC let them have that game. So I know the Grizzlies have been playing well at the house. I do feel like it's going to come to a stop at one point, but you're getting 10.5 points here. I mean, they could still lose this game by 7, 8 points, and you still cover the spread. So I don't have a bet on this game, but I would have to look towards Memphis, especially the way they've been playing at the house. But they better hope that Golden State doesn't care about this game, because it won't take much, I feel like, for Golden State. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if they want to go and win this game and blow this team out, it won't be hard. But that's the thing. You have to see. You have to, you know what I'm saying, trust your captain and see whether Golden State actually cares about this game. And I just think late in the season, especially these little lower teams, they don't really care as much. They can eke out a 1 or 2 point win here and not really care. You know what I'm saying? The home team has covered the past 6 in this series. So, and the last time they played in Memphis won the game. So, I mean, they showed that they could play Golden State pretty tight. But obviously, 2 games this year, they weren't close at all. Golden State was big favorites at the house. But this game is in Memphis, and it's double revenge. So I could definitely see Memphis keeping it close. And if I was forced to make a play on this game, it would be Memphis, and probably look towards the over since they've been pushing the pace lately.
You know, they have, and there's talk about Conley not being in the lineup. I know this may sound ridiculous, but Tyler Dorsey and DeLon Wright, I would want on the floor as much as possible against the Warriors. We just saw Tyler Dorsey put so much trouble into Russell Westbrook, and now you're going to get him on Steph and Clay. I love it. I love what I saw out of Dorsey. He just blew my mind yesterday on Monday night against the Thunder, and I'm a huge DeLon Wright fan. So, my heritage prop bet of the day, we're going to play after this segment, but it has to do with fading Steph tonight for a big score, and I'm fine. I'm fine with no Conley. I know that sounds nuts. I would want Conley basically against every single other team in the league. But tonight, if it's all Dorsey and DeLon Wright, I like it. I like it. I guess the guys are saying, Brandon's saying that it moved that bookmaker to 9.5, but I don't have that here listed on SBR odds, so I'll keep an eye on that. And then again, with the total with Conley out, that makes me think it could go under. Now, I'm not going to go up against this line move, but you mentioned pace. What if Conley's not in the... Oh, and it did just move to 10 at Pinnacle, so that's interesting. What do you think about pace if Conley's not in the lineup, Jay?
Yeah, regardless if he's not in the lineup, lately the Grizzlies have been pushing the pace. Like, this isn't your grandma and grandpa's Grizzlies team, you know what I'm saying, grind city the way it used to be. They're getting the ball off a make or a miss, and they are actually pushing the pace. Like, we used to see Conley walking the ball to the court, you know what I'm saying, methodical, hey, run play 1, 2, you know what I'm saying? We going to use a pick and roll. We might use 20 seconds of clock and then go chunk up a shot or something, maybe even miss. That's like literally we used to see Grizzlies game getting into 180s. Now you have they're a much younger team now. Gasol isn't there anymore. You don't have Conley playing as much. You got these young guys like Dorsey out there. Like you say, they had a damn good game, which I still feel like that was more of OKC just chunking up bullshit. They're in total disarray right now. But still, the Grizzlies, I have to give them credit as well. They still played a good game. It's like you say, sometimes when they have the young guys out here, they actually play better and more cohesive unit. I can't say I like when Wright and Dorsey out there. You know what I'm saying? Even Rab out there balling a little bit, you know what I'm saying, versus OKC. I had to watch that game just to see where OKC was at and see the way Memphis has been playing. But you know what I'm saying? The Memphis, the past 3 or 4 games, they have really been pushing the pace, and it's scary for me because I still think that they're an under team. They can still play good defense, but when you push the pace, it doesn't matter if you're playing good defense. That's more possessions. You know what I'm saying? You look at it, last 5 of their 6 games have went over. I know that Golden State has been on the under trend. That's what makes this one so tricky to cap because Golden State had just went to like 13 straight unders, and then the last game went over versus Detroit. But it could go right back to it being unders again. You know what I'm saying? This was a game that I just didn't have any play on, but I would have to lean towards the Grizzlies, and I would still have to lean towards the over because I still think Golden State is going to get their badges, and if Memphis keeps pushing the pace like they have been, I could only look towards the over here.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off at this point. Don't want to go against the market move, but be very interested if Conley's not in the lineup. Let's talk about this Thunder team that's now 6-11 since the All-Star break, coming off being embarrassed by Memphis. Paul George, Westbrook coming off a combined 16 for 49 from the field. What a bunch of bums. Now, do they bounce back? When are they going to bounce back? Do they not bounce back at all this year? I mean, when we were in LA together, I said, man, I think the Thunder could give the Warriors some problems. Wow, I certainly don't anymore. Man, we got Indiana, Oklahoma City opening up at -7 now, 6.5 or 6 at Bookmaker. And, man, total opens at 216 now, 217.5. Jay, Indiana, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, this OKC, you're right. We was talking in LA, you know what I'm saying? That we saw the OKC have stretches this year where they've shown they can win 6 or 7, 8 straight games. You know what I'm saying? Going to run where it seems like they can't lose. It doesn't matter who they play. I mean, we've seen them play Golden State very tight this year. You know what I'm saying? Play some damn good games against good teams at the house and on the road. We've seen them. We see Paul George play like an MVP this year. Where the fuck has that went, bro? I'm telling you, versus that Grizzlies game, I'm dead serious, man. I look like them boys was getting paid out there. Like, we just going to come out here and lose this game. I saw Paul George chunk up 3 ill-advised threes and Westbrook chunk up 2 ill-advised threes in the first quarter. I'm talking about guy in his face, hand in his face, everything. They just shoot the 3 like they were playing rec ball. I know what rec ball is. I hoop, you know what I'm saying, all the time. I'm a basketball player. Those guys did not fucking care about that Grizzlies game. When you just shoot 3 like that, there was no driving into the paint, passing, running plays, any of that. It was just rec basketball. That shit was pissing me off, man. It was. I'm hoping that they come back and bounce back here. I like OKC in this game. I can't say I haven't came to bet it, which I like today's card. All of them start, you know what I'm saying, pretty much when we like end the show or 15 minutes after, we have time to hop on everything. But in this game, Jimmy, man, I'm revenge game Jay, man. I can't say I think this is a bad spot for the Pacers. So the last time they played OKC, they were down by 10 to 12 points going into the fourth quarter. They came all the way back to win that game in emphatic fashion, win by 2 versus OKC. They're going to remember that shit. That OKC dominated that game for 3 quarters, and they just had a terrible fourth quarter. The under has hit in the past 4 of this series, so I definitely like the under in this game. But it's crazy to say, but and I can't put my money on it, so that means that it probably will cash since I'm not betting on OKC tonight. But I feel like OKC -6 all day. I've been going back and forth, not going back and forth, but I've been thinking, you know what I'm saying, I want to take it, but OKC has been taking my money lately. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bet it. You guys will probably cash. You see this line moving to 6.5. This is an OKC get right game. You know what I'm saying? I know we always say that, and I thought it was versus the Grizzlies. They will bounce back at some point, Jimmy. We know they have to get ready for the playoffs. I mean, we saw them go and beat Toronto in the home and home. They lost to Memphis. Maybe have been looking ahead to this game. This is a revenge spot. Indiana is coming off a blowout win, and OKC is coming off a loss or a team that they know damn well that they probably should have won and played absolutely terrible. Now they're back at the house. This is a very strong lean, you know what I'm saying, to OKC of -6 and 6.5. I'm not going to bet it so that you guys can cash.
Yeah, I want to take Oklahoma City, but sometimes you just get burnt too many times, man. Burnt too many times. I have a lean on them, and Kobe James says, bet your life on OKC. Paul's going to go off. You know, Pacers coming off a very, very good game, and I just can't trust OKC. I can't trust them, but here's a spot, and we got to be brisk here because we're going to have our man Maxwell Smart coming out to break these college basketball games down. But Washington, Phoenix, do we jump on the over right now? The over kind of staring us in the face. Washington on the second half of back-to-back, not going to be playing very much defense. They opened at 3.5-point favorites. They're now 1.5 against the Suns. This total opened at 230, now 230.5 at 5 times, 231.5 at Bookmaker. You have an angle on Washington, Phoenix?
Yeah, well, I feel like these are opposites in here, and that's the reason why I couldn't play the total. You look at Washington; they don't really play defense. A back-to-back is gonna be terrible, which they are the best team in the league, off of a back-to-back as far as ATS. But as far as you look at these two teams, you would think if Phoenix has been an over team too. Not, they've been an under team. I've been cashing with these Phoenix Suns unders. The last game versus the Jazz, it barely went over. But if you look at it, the under is 7-3 in the past 10 Phoenix games. If you look at it's really Booker, that's the only offensive weapon, especially with people like Josh Jackson, you know what I'm saying, Tyler Johnson now, Holmes, which he's come back or whatever, but with Kelly Oubre being out as well, these were their offensive guys, the guys that were getting them all the baskets. TJ Warren, these are guys that don't really play a whole lot of D, and they give them a good 10 to 15 points per game, especially TJ Warren. He was an underrated scorer for them. I started fading the Suns and hopping on the unders ever since he went out. Then now you got Kelly Oubre out, you got Tyler Johnson out, which is a point guard, and then Josh Jackson, which he's questionable right now, but he probably won't play. He doesn't play any defense at all. So him not being out there, taking out the scoring, a little 10 to 12 points a game, and then that's putting in the actual, you know what I'm saying, good defender. Anything is going to be an upgrade to him as far as the defensive side. You really have Booker. If you shut down Booker, you can hold the Suns to less than 105, 100 points. We've been seeing it happen. I mean, he scored damn near 60 points, and they still took an L, bro. So they just have no offense whatsoever other than Booker. I couldn't bring myself to get on the under because you will not catch me betting a Wizards game under. I can't, bro. I cannot fucking watch them. They will let you go and get whatever you want in the paint. But I still lean towards the under in this one because the Wizards are on the back-to-back. Hopefully they don't try to push the pace too much, but I just think that the Suns don't have enough scoring. I mean, this is 230 points, and that's why you see it dip down. If this wasn't the Suns, this would be 235, 240. It's that low. It's crazy to say it's that low, but it is at 230. It's because of the Suns in this game, and I still think that it probably will go under for the simple fact of the Suns. But I'm on the Wizards here, one of the best teams back-to-back, not the best team in the league on back-to-back this year. I had to take the Wizards. I know Bill is in another place, but the Suns aren't trying to win games right now. So that's my angle in this one. I got to take the Wizards.
Yeah, and a lot of people are backing it. Anthony Mastronardi has that as the Italian Stallion play of the day. Wizards -1.5. I'm uncomfortable backing the Wizards here, but I'm not going to take the over. I'm not going to go up against Red Girl, Raven in the Desert, Vaughn Burgess. I'm not going to make that move. So I'm just going to stay off this game. Bendover said Beal was gassed. He was gassed. Will he have more energy tonight? That's hard to understand. But I'm off. I'm very close to making a move on OKC. I'm very close to making a move, and I'm going to decide in the next few seconds. But we got to get to Max now. Jay, can you touch on this Lakers-Utah game briefly? We know there's going to be no LeBron, and the spread's gone from -13 to -15.5. The Jazz have been smashing these spreads and destroying teams of late, at least last two games. Do you think they do that again here against the Lakers?
Yeah, the thing is, they could smash, but still not cover. I mean, you asking them to be winning the cover wire to wire, especially third or fourth quarter. Whole thing is, you have to be scared of, and we saw this with the Raptors yesterday. Even if you're up by 20, going in 20, you know what I'm saying, maybe 17 points going into the fourth quarter, and when you sit your starters, that opens up the backdoor cover. You know, and I'm so scared of shit. This is a high-ass spread. In theory, Jazz should blow them out, but I just like the under here. I don't think that the Lakers will score a whole lot of points, even while they've had LeBron. Last four games have went under. We know the Jazz play pretty good defense as well, and they're on the they play, you know what I'm saying, this is like their fifth game in 8 days as well, so it's not a super tough spot for them. They are at the house, but I like the Jazz defense here, and the Lakers haven't been scoring a whole lot of points lately. Offense is a little stagnant. I think it would be even more stagnant without LeBron. I like the under here, one of my best plays of the day.
Jumping on the under, going up against Ron Crawford. Sherigan Amaterasu says easy cover for the Lakers. Interesting stuff. And LeBron is out, Mally Mal. Kobe James saying blowout Jazz win. Okay, there is 1-6 left on the board, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to see if I can get half of my money back that I lost in the Memphis game. I'm going to take OKC -6 at -115. That's at the Greek. OKC -6 at -115. Oh, God. I just feel like situationally I've got to go back to them right now. So that's what's up. Okay, thank you, Jay Money is Money. And stick around to watch Jay Money, who's going to be on with Ski Profit in 35 minutes on King's Court. Where can we find you on Twitter, Jay?
Man, y'all go find me on Twitter at JMoneyIsMoney, and y'all can find me on King's Court 30 minutes after the show. I appreciate you, Jimmy. I appreciate everybody supporting, you know what I'm saying, watching the show, the kind comments, everybody staying positive. I appreciate all you guys, man. Y'all come and tune in to King's Court. We're going to drop off some more dimes.
You know, I'm going to watch King's Court. I might jump on that under with you. I might jump on that under with you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have my man, Maxwell Smart, ready to go. But just before we get to Maxwell Smart, let's roll the Heritage video. Larry, can we pop that Heritage video in right now? Welcome to the Heritage Prop of the Day. At heritagesports.eu, you pick the player, you pick the props, they give you the odds. And I've lost 3 straight. I'm upset. I'm nonplussed. I'm not pleased. I'm turning it around right now. I'm taking the Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, Spider, to score more points than the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry at plus 117. That's right. I'm fading Steph. Donovan Mitchell will be in LA and will want to put on a show. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope will not be able to slow him down. Jazz are coming off 2 blowout wins where Mitchell only played 26 minutes, 27 minutes respectively. He's rested, he's fresh, and he's ready to pop off. Last week he scored a combined 64 points in back-to-back games in Atlanta and New York due to explode. Warriors are in Memphis against a Grizzlies team that can defend. Now, Mike Conley's maybe coming back from injury, and he's not the best perimeter defender, but they have Tyler Dorsey and DeLon Wright who will switch on Steph as much as possible. 6'5" Tyler Dorsey coming off hounding Russell Westbrook into a 6 for 20 shooting night and 16 points. DeLon Wright's length can defend the perimeter. Steph has played 2 games versus Memphis this year and shot 36.4% from the field and averaged 19.5 points per game. I'm on Spida over Steph at plus 117. Let's get that cash. All right, we are back. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, Maxwell Smart, my man, thank you for your patience. Sorry, we started the show late. Had to get through a bunch of stuff. First off, how you doing today? And thank you for your great work yesterday. Get me back some cash there. Coming off a 5-2 day with that Wichita plus 160. So thank you for your great work. Looking forward to hammer this 3-game card. How you doing today?
I'm doing good because I've been doing softball research and I've been watching girls softball all day making money. So feeling good right now. Got a pretty massive parlay going on of some big money line favorites, and so far they're doing work. North Carolina softball team, 1 hit through 5 innings. They load the bases up. Their second hit is a freaking base clearing double. Love how that works. 3-0 UNC over East Carolina. Let's get it, Tar Heels.
I love it. I love that you're hammering college baseball, man. And I'm looking forward to softball. Looking forward to roll with this stuff with you this year. This is wonderful. And Jake, my man Jake Vandergallen, just stick around we hammered all the basketball games, but stick around for King's Court coming up in 32 minutes and go over them again. Okay, Max, we're coming off a nice day. Let me know. Oh, and shout out to Chip Plylar. Yeah, it's we'll see how this goes. But okay, Maxwell Smart, Coastal Carolina, DePaul. DePaul opening at -7, now up to -8. And are people dealing with a recency bias pushing this over up to 164 after seeing them put up 109 points against West Virginia? What do you think here? Coastal Carolina, DePaul, Max?
No, I think that both these teams want to move fast-paced. They want to go up and down the court. They really want to have fun. I think that's what suits Coastal Carolina. This is a team that has changed their pace quite considerably from last year compared to this year. Devontae Jones coming off a great 30-point game, taking a lot of heat off Zach Cuthbertson. The fact was this Coastal Carolina team was very balanced scoring. I feel that they still have another game in them. I'm looking for the big boy to get big tonight. I am worried about Max Strus. He is coming off 38 and 33-point games respectively, but I think that his pattern so far this year has shown that after 2 massive games, he does have a game more along his 19.9 points per game season average. I think that Paul Reed will have to be very important, very efficient, like he was versus Longwood, because without some of his buckets down the stretch, I don't think that you're really getting that game. And for that instance, I think that the over is still something that you're going to be able to get over. I don't see Coastal Carolina scoring 109 points, but I can see them getting into the 80s. So the over is a play for me. I'm on Coastal Carolina. I'm going to ride the dog in this one, and I'm just going to put my faith in what I've watched this year and know that DePaul, even though they have gotten better as the season goes, this is a Coastal Carolina team that they just have no familiarity with and not a lot of time to adjust and develop a good coaching and game plan.
Where did you get the number at Coastal Carolina DePaul over?
I got 7 at the over. I got 162.5, but even at the 164, I think that you can get, you're going to get 80 points from both these teams. So I do think that the 164 is still obtainable. I just have I've just had bad luck with taking overs with major line movement or a 3 or 4 point line move. So I got in on the middle of that line move. Now you're getting in basically at the ass end of it. So it's a hard spot for me to recommend to other people. But based on my capping and what I had this number at, we're getting up to 168 or 169. So 164 is still an over and a winner.
I'm just, yeah, I hear that. I'm hesitant. I mean, there was talk about DePaul playing no defense. How do you compare DePaul's defense to West Virginia's or pace of play?
I think that the pace of play is going to be a little bit slower on defense, but I think that on offense, they're going to make up for it. You're going to see a lot of Max Strus handling the ball, taking the ball right to the bucket and not hanging around trying to milk the clock and try and get that best shot clock opportunity. I think that it just favors DePaul to keep a good pace at this game and just hope, because based on the numbers, their offensive efficiency can match up with Coastal Carolina. I just think that this is a couple too many points, and I think that it's the end of the season. Why do you want to be so strict and regiment? Let's let these guys show their talent. Let these guys wow the home crowd, because it could be their last game there.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I may make a move. Shout out to you, got Moss backing that Donovan prop. That's nice to hear. I'm, losing 3 of those in a row. I'm not very comfortable. Donovan Mao on the DePaul team total over. And then big shout out to our guy Toro Capital watching the show, being a part of the capping here. Toro Capital, low bagger. Shout out to Toro Capital. Okay, Mikey D says Coastal going to go postal. And I'm not sure if I'm going to make a move here. Now, let's talk Lipscomb, North Carolina State. You could have got 4.5s on North Carolina State earlier. Now just 5s. And I thought you were liking the over here. And the market's being confused with this over. And in fact, money coming in on the under now. There was 163.5s available an hour ago. There are not. There is a 163 at Pinnacle, but 162.5s everywhere else, and a 162 at Bovada. Love to hear your breakdown of this Lipscomb, North Carolina State spot, because Mikey D is all over Lipscomb, even though the market's going against them. Can't wait to hear you break down this.
Yeah, I'm on Lipscomb and I'm on the over here. I did have a bit of trepidation when I did find out one of my go-to under college basketball cappers, Red Girl, is on this under. I think that this Lipscomb team, definitely by the numbers do not support the over hitting. I just think that you're getting unique offensive elements of certain players' games that you just can't defend. And I think that you're going to be able to just repeatedly go back to that same kind of play or that same kind of offense and be able to score. I think Lipscomb, with the way that Rob Marbury has shown this over the hook shot that he has when you're not bringing the double teams, and even if you do, you're probably going to foul him from the side. That's an offense that I think that Lipscomb has to exploit and use often versus Wyatt Walker and NC State. Let's be frank, NC State runs 4-guard lineups. They are not going to want to try and go big. It's not their strength of their roster and how their offense flows. I see Lipscomb being able to go bucket for bucket. I see Garrison Matthews being able to get to the paint and get to the bucket and score with the shot clock still with a lot of time on it. I don't think it benefits either of these teams to try and slow this game down and play strict defense, because the fluidity of their offense is what makes them unique. We remember what happened to NC State when they tried to play defense and they tried to play at a slower pace. They only scored 24 points. So this is the kind of NC State team that has to shoot threes at home. That's what the home crowd wants. I think that there'll be a good atmosphere, but I think that Lipscomb, the way that they beat teams in non-conference, the way that they beat up on their conference and only losing to my Liberty Flame, I think that Lipscomb is a spot for me. I'm already on the +4. I'm probably going to get him on the money line. I'm on the over 162.5, and on the total, I'm lucky. I looked at the great Godfather of Volumes picks, and he's on the over 162.5. So I have a little bit of warmth over there, knowing at least the Godfather of Volume is with me on this over.
Five Dimes just jumped it up to 163. So that's interesting spot. And you're right. BetOnline has moved to 5.5. So has Bookmaker. That just moved to 5.5. Wow. Very, very interesting. And there a lot of people in the chat saying North Carolina State is an under team. And you feel like them playing small ball against Lipscomb changes that?
Yeah, I just think that you're going to get 30 to 32 3-point shot attempts from this North Carolina State team. And we know when they're scoring the basketball, they're hitting a lot of these 3-point shots. They're able to get to the bucket with these 4-guard systems. Braxton Beverly, he's able to do it. A lot of guys can hit free throws. You have Markel Johnson and Torrin Dorn who have that upperclassman experience. So they're going to be able to play to their strength, and their strength is not playing slow, in my opinion.
Oh, it's very, very interesting. Jay Peach says, I love when teams have to make threes to stay in it. All signs point to under 163. Sebastian Arnold also taking Lipscomb, and Mikey D sprinkling a little on the Lippy money line as well. Wow, this is a tough card, little card today. I was certainly expecting that. I knew I only made a couple plays in the early show. I was like, oh, don't worry, the plays will come. Just don't force it. The plays will come. And now I've added one play. Just one play. So Noli knows on the Colorado Texas under. Let's move to that spot. Now, that has moved towards the under. There was a bunch of 139s available after the morning show, and they are not available. There's one at Bovada, 138.5's a BetOnline, Bookmaker, and Heritage, but 138's a 5 Dimes and Pinnacle. The spread opened at -7 for Texas, and when you talked about Colorado, when Kobe Valentine talked about Colorado, we guys jumping on Colorado on the early show, Jared Schrader talking about Colorado. I jumped on 2 at 5.5. There's still 5.5s available at Pinnacle, 5 Dimes, and BetOnline, but it's down to 5 at Heritage, Bovada, and Bookmaker. Max, Colorado, Texas.
Yeah, I'm already on Colorado +6, and I already jumped on the money line after my show with Drew, and I got +200 at Bet365. So how I'm looking at this game is simple. Shane Gatling and McKinley Wright had very bad shooting games last game, and I think that what's it called? They're going to have better shooting games tonight. I like their matchups versus the guards of Texas. Yes, Kerwin Roach is coming off the bench, but he's still playing significant minutes. My guy, who I am worried about, is this stupid beeper, Courtney Ramey. Every time I turn on and start paying attention to a Texas game, he hits a 3-point shot. So I hope that he doesn't do that tonight because he's been shooting the ball quite well lately. This Texas team definitely has gone a step up with Jericho Sims, and let's be frank, they were very lucky to get through Xavier. Xavier missed free throws that cost them the game directly. They had the ability to win the game, and they missed the second of 2 free throws. And I just think that Texas has been playing with fire, and I think that this is a team that can make them regret it. You have a great, solid, athletic, versatile frontcourt player in Tyler Bay, and if Lucas Seward is up to his old tricks and up to his standard and getting minutes, I think this Colorado team not only can cover this 6 points or 5 points or whatever the spread is at right now, but they could win this game outright. I think that they are a Pac-12 team that now I've had to watch because of postseason tournaments, and I'm impressed with what they're doing. I went against them in the Norfolk State game, and this time I'm flipping and going with Colorado as a dog.
That makes sense to me, and I'm on them as well. Are you going to jump on the total?
I'm already on the under. It is my play of the day, and I did take it because Noli Knows is on it. So if it's one of Noli's plays, I need a winner on my play of the day, and if I got to go to the well, I go to one of my 2 wells. It's the Noli well or the Red Girl well. Tonight, I'm going to the Noli well.
Back in the Noli well, and obviously your analysis combined with Noli being on it. What is it about the pace and defense in Colorado, Texas that leads you towards the under?
I just think that you're going to get good perimeter defense from your guards here. Shane Gatling is definitely he doesn't get recognition for the perimeter defense that he can, but he is quick to get out on shooters. He does very nicely on closeouts where he's not fouling, but he's able to get his hand up in the air straight. And I think that's really important. I think that the fouls, the whistles from the ref is going to be loose, so you don't want to give them a lot of ammunition to start calling a lot of fouls on you. I just think that the way that both these teams are going to defend each other and the way that they can defend the rim, I think that you're not going to have a lot of easy layups where defenses are going to falter. I think that it's going to be a better decision for both these teams to try and play a slower pace, limit possessions, and really pound the basketball in and use the shot clock to their best of their advantage.
I think I found my fourth play on this card. I am Axeman says there's just something about hitting an under ticket. I don't know why, but it's more satisfying. I agree. I agree. And we know that the public loves overs. Yeah, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on that under. So a very light card for me. The lightest card I probably ever had. I would say this is the lightest card I've ever had in the 2 years I've been down here. Just my fourth play here. I'm going to jump on the under here. And a very interesting thing going on here if you're looking at tomorrow's early looks, Max. The 9 is gone from Virginia. There was a couple 9s on the board. They're gone. And the 8s have come back for Virginia. So somebody believing in the Cinderella Oregon Ducks. What is your favorite look right now of everything in the Sweet 16?
Texas Tech's probably my favorite game that I think that I can win my bet on. But I'll go back to this Virginia game for 1 second, if you don't mind. There's a lot of bettors that are not in our realm usually that are putting their money on these games. So I am actually starting to ignore line movement for the most part because I just have to rely on my capping, what I've seen with my eyes and what I watch of both these teams, because there are probably 20,000, 30,000 other bettors that are throwing $5-10 on each game. And I think that is going to be skewing the lines and pushing it back and forth. That's why we're seeing this U-shaped line movement. If anything, this line should have gone up more in Virginia's favor, not money come back in on Oregon.
I agree. And I think that's a very important note. I don't think the line movements have dictated outcomes at all in the last week and a half or so. Okay, I jumped on Texas, Colorado, under 139, minus 115 at Bovada. Well, Max, I know it's been such a busy month for you, and you're still making time for us. It just means the world to low baggers. And Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. Big, big, big day for you guys. And no morning game. So we also have Loyola Merriman, South Florida. We got Hampton, your play of the day yesterday that cashed. And thank you for sending that to us.
No.
Oh, wasn't your play?
The Hampton over did not cash.
Oh, you're right. But you got me on Hampton as well. So that split yesterday. I had a 5-2 day rolling with you and Drew and the boys here in the chat in college basketball, which I desperately needed. You got Moss says, I think Virginia could win by 20-25. And Billy Exotic says Oregon could go all the way. Very, very interesting. And you got Moss says Texas been playing way faster. And then let's quickly look at this Texas Tech, because it was 2 on Monday. And now we are down to 1.5. So there's still some 2s. So that's a very interesting look. Texas Tech, Michigan. Well, Max, where can we find you on Twitter, and what time are your shows moving forward?
Yeah, you can find me obviously at MaxwellSmart420 on Twitter. You can find me at 4 p.m. Eastern with my co-host to play Capper Drew Martin. I'll be on here for the next little bit for the next couple weeks. Obviously here with you, Jimmy the Bag, and you can find me on my YouTube channel, MaxwellSmart420, where the vulgarity, the cursing, and all kinds of deviant conversation is going on.
Deviant? Oh God. I got to stop myself from laughing every time I get a little bit. Man, you're such a asset to the Low Bag family. Thank you so much for joining us, Max. Now, without further ado, could you please introduce none other than Lucrative Larry?
Yes, absolutely. I can introduce the man that made me buy this mic, the Blue Yeti. His name is Lucrative Larry, and he's awesome.
Larry, it's nice to have you.
Nice for you to have me. Nice
Sure.
to have me. That's how it.
That sounds oddly homosexual, but that's all
Oh,
good.
you're right.
It's all good. No problem. Oh, the arms.
Yeah,
The arms.
people have been asking.
Have been asking.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Virginia -8 over Oregon at -115.
Wow, we were just talking about that game.
Were
Backing
you?
the Virginia Cavaliers over the Oregon Ducks.
I'm
That
not
makes
surprised.
sense to all of us, man.
Not surprised.
That makes sense to all of us.
At Bovada. Any questions or something?
Unbelievably, I have 0 questions. Although I respect the arm movement, and I like your play, Virginia, very much. I still haven't bet it, so I think it's time for me to go bet it right now because I've been humming and hawing. I don't know why I'm humming and hawing. It's just
Like right now?
I've got some lung issues, but
I can hum. You want to see me hum?
absolutely not. No, that's horrifying. I don't enjoy that whatsoever. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Lucrative Larry. He's on Virginia -8, -115 at Bovada. Top Set says Larry's capping NCAA. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Is that a surprise or something?
Yeah, that is a surprise to us. Lamont Williams says, what's the play, Jimmy? He's on Virginia -8, -115 at Bovada. All right, you guys. It all starts tomorrow. Sweet 16, MLB. We're going to have to keep a very brisk pace. We're going to have to be flying through these games. We're going to have a ton of experts coming on, helping us out. But it all starts tomorrow. The next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow, are the toughest 2 weeks for me because these are my main 3 sports. I guess NFL too, so I got 4 main sports. But right now, having 3 sports coinciding at the same time is not easy. So stick around in 13 minutes for King's Court with Jay Money and Ski Profit. But other than that, let's have a big night. Leche, a los